Good morning and welcome to Frank's School, 7th year, 23rd day, first video. What a mess this looks like. See if I can run through this in 10 minutes or less. I'm turning Resurrection the movie. You're going to hear a lot about that, I think, in the coming months, maybe year, I don't know. We're actually kind of working on trying to make it happen. Anyway, I want to turn my attention to the soundtrack because it appears to me, when I was thinking about this, that the screenplay, I've been convinced, has to be done. That'll be a bunch of work, but I think I can do it. The screenplay, I'll do that. The casting, I've thought a lot about the casting. I think it can be done. I'm going to take that up here as well. Who are these characters? And what are they like? And who do I know? Because I'm not particularly interested in looking for professionals, unless they happen to play instruments wonderfully, and also that's another matter. So Resurrection, the soundtrack, the score. Well, I need to come up with a score, and the matter of the order of building the score, I think I want to do that in a separate video. How do I go about doing this? So I think I'm getting rid of this stuff because it'd be easier for me. In a sense, I need a score for what would be maybe a ballet. When I realized it was like a ballet, I thought, that kind of works. You know, a ballet doesn't have a set of words, and it's staged all kinds of different ways. The story is there, the music is there, and then you stage it. And in a lot of ways, that's what I have in mind. It even occurred to me that you might call it the palais ballet or the palette ballad. That's kind of a joke. I don't. That to me that strikes me funny, but in any case, the idea that it's a little bit like a ballet is interesting to me. And you know, in a ballet, it's the feet, the hands, the whole body. But in this case, it's the arms and the hands would be doing more of the dancing, and it wouldn't really be dancing. In a lot of ways, it's not like a ballet, but it is in that there aren't words. There's music and there aren't words, and it could be done many different ways. Now, I was thinking about the Beggar's Opera, and the Threepenny Opera is, I don't know as much about the Threepenny Opera. I maybe should. Most people probably do. But I did at one point look into what was the Beggar's Opera. And I looked again, and it's something called a ballad opera, that they were popular for a while. You almost have to go back to, not Shakespeare's day, but you have to go to the probably 17th century England for this. But anyway, I know that in the Beggar's Opera, there's so much music in there. But this is back almost at the Renaissance, or maybe in the Renaissance, and it just keeps going into all these tunes. What makes it similar in my mind is that the tunes were quotes. I think his name was John Gay that composed that or wrote that, and he used all these popular songs that people basically knew, and then added some. I didn't love it by any means, and I think I do have a copy of it on videotape that I had bought. But in a sense, what my plan, since I'm not a composer, but I can quote music, and I can speak the language a little bit. In a sense, I found myself yesterday, for example, doing that kind of thing, drawing from the Renaissance period, the Baroque period, the Classical period, drawing tunes and pieces and movements that many people recognize and many people know. Not all of them. But anyway, that's where I'm most comfortable in working. So that's where I'm going to be drawing my quotes from. All right, and the orchestration of this score, well, actually, I think it'll be a lot like what's called a Renaissance band, I think is what they called it. Not exactly an orchestra. A total of maybe 8 instruments or 9. A very small number of instruments, and the timbres could vary a lot in a Renaissance band. I mean, I don't have time to go into this. Anyway, there are 9 named characters in this screenplay. 9 named characters, but there don't have to be 9 leitmotifs or themes, musical themes. I'm going to start using the word themes because a lot of people are a lot more familiar with that than the concept of leitmotif. There's 9 characters, and here they are. But I want to show you how the job doesn't have to be quite so intimidating. Marion, his timbre is a drum, so he doesn't really have a tune. He could be there or not be there all the time, but it's a hand-played drum. I don't know if I'll have Marion use sticks in his character, but he's a drum, so in a sense, you can. He doesn't have to have his theme. Bryn has to have a theme. Festus has to have a theme. Batch. And Anna, her timbre is a acoustic guitar, and so she can play chords, and in a lot of ways she can be almost like a continuo, if you know music at all, supplying the harmony instead of having her own tune, her own theme. Robin and Paul, they go together. I decided because they're a couple. And I thought I'll have them share the same theme, and then Tom and Astrid. I keep trying to make up my name, my idea. What am I going to call these 2 characters? They arrive as apprentices, or Tom especially, and Astrid is kind of supportive, and their music all of a sudden jumps out of the 20th century in rock and roll. And I doubt if it would last long. I mean, it would just be before they arrive, sort of show the world they're coming from. So we're left with 1, 2, 3, 4 characters that would have their own themes. And that makes 4-part harmony critical. To have 4-part harmony, you've got to have 4 voices or instruments. And, we could add to that, but that's perfectly doable. For example, if you get into a chorale, if I use a chorale, I've got what it would take there. I'm reluctant to erase that just yet. Maybe I won't. All right, now turning to the score itself, the overture. I've got an idea for the overture. As a matter of fact, I think it's in some form, the overture, within, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks, it'll be done. I want to use the tune Christ lag in todes banden, Christ lay in death's bands. Now, I don't want this resurrection to give you the feeling that it is completely a Christian work. No, but the Baroque music in the Western world is the church, Northern Europe particularly, had a lot to do with bringing that music forward, and there it is. So, and the words, well, they're in German. I mean, I probably wouldn't have. I say the score or the film has to be wordless. Well, I think I can use voices if it's in Latin or if it's in German, as long as it's not in English. I think so. Anyway, there's that. Act 1. Well, in a sense, Act 1 is taken care of. I just need to put it all together. In that, the team is assembled, and I made a playlist yesterday of the tunes that I have in mind, themes for each one of those characters, even here. Now, these circles represent entr'actes, I think that's how you say it, between acts. And I could draw from Vivaldi, possibly, the Vivaldi's Seasons. That's well known and it's popular. And there's 5 acts, so really I have 4 opportunities for entr'actes. I'll have to look into that. I don't know if I would use one here. Not too sure about that one. And I don't know if I would use one anyway, or use them at all. Here for the second act, I might take a chorale. Just pick a Bach chorale and something like that, and blend these. I'm not sure what I'll do. At least there'll be a whole lot of mixing there as the team begins to work together. The third act is going to be dominated by a trip to the Feda, the fair, the market, the weekly market. Don't know about that. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Oh dear, what can the matter be, Johnny, so long at the fair? I think of music that I could quote, but I'm not so sure about that. The dance and the climax will be in Act 4. The dance, I'm now pretty sure I'm going to pull it from Haydn. Haydn's Autumn of his work, his oratorio, The Seasons, the dance, or the Wine Fest, it's called. That and the climax, I think I'll probably use, I might, at this point I'm thinking I might use Et Resurrexit from the B minor Mass for the climax. The departure, don't know. The coda, the coda. Cum Sancto Spiritu, I suspect, from, again, the B minor Mass. I think the credits, for the credits, I'll go back to the dance. All right, so there's a rough plan. All right, now this music is basically in the public domain, so I can use the music, but not the performances. So getting, the performances, I'll have to have permission or get do a performance. And I'm sure I've got friends, or a friend anyway, who could do this on a computer and synthesize it and all that, but I don't know how that would work. It might be necessary on the way, I don't know. All right, and actually then it could be a single performance. As I said, if I had about 8 or 10 musicians that were good enough, maybe even not that many, they could perform the whole score. I'm guessing it might take 2 hours. It would be like it could be even performed as a concert. Well, this is here's initial thoughts. I'm going to have to revisit this. Bye for now.